So there's so many reasons why you are not finding success in your life, in your business, right? And the majority of it all comes down to development within one's self, right? I'm not here to sound like some fucking woohoo, like spiritualistic, like Capricorn girl, right? But like being spiritual is like truly awakening when you learn about the deeper parts of yourself. And it truly is like taking steps back to progress forward. And it's very interesting. And I think I'm going to pivot a lot more towards that in like future content and stuff, because I think it's like stuff that people actually need. I think we're in a world where we're drowning in information while starving for wisdom. And I think the world will therefore be run by like synthesizers. And I'm not just talking about like cookie cutter bullshit synthesizers that just like regurgitate a bunch of shit. And like even in terms of like personal development channels and stuff, like it's so much cookie cutter bullshit advice and motivational stuff that doesn't actually do anything on the surface or deep down. Like it's just like work hard, like you have to have this specific mindset if you want to win. And it's like personal development is not a one size fits all. Everyone is on their own journey, everyone has their own things, and this is why like the biggest issue with this whole personal development stuff is like people are not developed enough to realize it's not a one size fits all. And I always thought it was. I thought I could just listen to like a generic mindset video that would better my mind, and while yeah, maybe I take some good beliefs from it, they might not actually serve me and serve my soul. And so like everyone's different, and so you need to learn how to tap into what it is that your spiritual journey is meant to be, right? And like again, I'm not here trying to sound like some fucking like crazy spiritualist or whatever, but it's really true. Like all this like generic advice where people are like law of attraction, blah 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 blah, like yeah, all that's great, but it has to be in alignment with you, right? And everyone is different. And so let me give you an example just to make it easy, right? There's this part of me that just wants to work, that specifically does not want to fail, cannot think of anything worse than making less than 400 grand a month, right? Like it's disgusted if I was to make less than 400 grand a month, right? And so like, there's this part of me that always is pushing forward and pushing, right? You gotta work, you can't do anything else, don't distract yourself, just get up and work and just push yourself to do it, right? And I explained the axe story. I am that young axe, right? I'm the motherfucker that's just pushing forward, right? But as I'm learning about myself, I realize there's parts of me of why that's happening, and that's the first part, understanding why that's happening, right? And so a lot of people are just doing stuff, including myself, are just doing stuff to make money. The industry I'm in the industry I'm in to make money. I know a lot about the industry, I'm very knowledgeable. I would think I'm one of the best in the industry in terms of like knowing what to do. But like being completely honest, there's a part of me that doesn't even want to be in this industry. And the only reason I picked it is because it makes a ton of money, right? And so like that's something I'm confronting of myself right now. It's not truly aligned with me, and I know that I'm not going to be in this industry for probably more than the next 1 to 2 years, if I'm just being completely honest, right? And so I think going down the route of like really teaching people about themselves to then teach them about how to grow businesses is something I will start to do more, and to see if it feels right for me. Because again, I don't want to be this person that gives cookie cutter mindset advice. I want you to dive deep into yourself, right? And so like what I mean by that is there's no mindset video that could have done what I've just done with my therapist, right? And what that was feeling my feelings, and one of the feelings that kept coming up was like scared, right? There was a part of me that was scared. And so I literally sat there and meditated and dug into that feeling that was in my stomach, and I came up like it just made, it was the 18-year-old self of me. That's what I originally thought. So I was like, right, I feel scared, and what kept coming up was this 18-year-old self of me that was scared because everything was going wrong in my life. My mum had cancer, I was completely dead broke. I just had to try and make money. So I was doing whatever I could to make money. And I think a lot of people are in this same situation, right? And so I was in this space where I was trying drop shipping. I was trying all the ways you could do that everyone goes through to try and make money fast, because that's all I thought was the answer, when it wasn't. And there's still that part of me, that 18-year-old self that's deep within me, that I haven't came to accept, which is probably why I'm in the industry I'm in right now, even though I'm not truly aligned with it, because I'm only doing the stuff to make the most amount of money possible, right? And this is just me being completely real, raw, and vulnerable with you guys, right? Because I want to help you guys truly. And so there's this part of me that, like I said, since I was 18 years old, for the last 6-7 years, has simply just been picking things to do based on what is the return on investment, how much money can you make? Nor does it align with me, nor is this something that I want to do, does this fulfill me? None of that. I've just ignored that side of myself, which is the most important side of myself, and I've just only been acknowledging the side of myself that's scared, and I don't want to be scared, and so therefore I need to just do the thing that makes the most amount of money, and nothing else matters, right? And that causes burnout. That causes me to have bad habits, like not sleeping tidy. That causes me to have bad habits of not doing any exercise. And so it's actually detrimental. Like, yeah, it makes me tons of money, but then it comes to the answer. Then it comes to the conclusion of like, well, is money everything? Is money success? And I don't think it is when I think deep down, right? And so I'm still, like I said, I'm still learning, and I just want to document this kind of journey that I'm going through spiritually, because I think it's super important. But as I was saying, I found that 18-year-old self of me that was scared, and that was just doing stuff to try and make money to help his mum and to help him, because he thought money was the answer. But then I dug deeper, and I actually found that that scared part of me actually goes back further, and goes back to my 13, 14-year-old self, who was doing athletics and was scared, right? And so this is where it really stems from and really starts, which I'll explain what that is. But once you know that, you can then accept that part of you, and you can reaffirm to that part of you that you're fine and I've got you, right? And so what I did in that therapy session with my therapist was I thought it was the 18-year-old self. Maybe that was a surface level, but then I dug deeper and found that there was actually a 13, 14-year-old version of Dylan that was actually really scared and nervous and fearful, right? And it was because that 14-year-old self used to do athletics, and that was all he knew, and he was obsessed with it, right? Just like I'm obsessed with business now. And the one thing is, he loved the training aspect, he loved the social aspect, and he really enjoyed athletics. But when it would come to competing, when it would come to competitions, when it would come to racing, he hated it. Like, he truly hated it. And deep down, when I think at that point I'd brainwashed myself into becoming an Olympic champion, he was so scared of competing. I remember, and the vision came straight back to my head of whenever, like for example, whenever I would be on my way to an athletics race, I would be so nervous and feel so sick, and I wouldn't eat that morning. I would make myself feel so sick in the days coming up to an athletic race, and I used to dread when I would have races, because I put so much pressure, and there was also so much external pressure from everyone else put on me, that I was like, if I don't win this race, I'm a failure, I'm not enough, I'm never going to be enough, right? And so in that therapy session, I had to accept that part of myself and go back and give him a hug and like actually say like, bro, you're good. Like it's not that big of a deal. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, what you're doing right now literally doesn't matter. If this is something that you don't want to do and you don't feel comfortable doing, don't do it. If you're enjoying the training, just do the training. You don't have to compete. Like, you don't have to be, like, you are enough. Like, we're 23 now, bro. Like you're good, right? And so I had to dive back into that part of myself. And like, I was sat on my bed with that younger part of myself, like giving him a hug, like, bro, you're good. Like, I got you, G. Like, I got you. What do you truly love to do? And what you truly love to do is be out in nature, right? Like, climbing trees, right? Like, being out with friends, like, in nature. And so I was like, right, bro, like, I'm going to make a promise to you that we're going to get out in nature, like, at least once a day for 20, 30 minutes a day, just so I can, like, be with you type shit, right? And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to build a bond and a relationship with that 14-year-old scared version of me, because if I don't, it's going to keep affecting me negatively in my life, and I'm only going to do stuff for money, and I'm only going to do stuff that isn't truly aligned with me, and that's not what I want, right? And I'm lucky to be in a position where I'm 23 years old now, and I'm learning about this stuff, because I feel like people never learn about this stuff, right? And so like I go back, and like I said, I was putting myself in that 14-year-old's mindset, and he was just so scared. He hated racing, but like he felt like it was something that he had to do, because what's the point in training if you're not going to race? But it's not necessarily that. It could have been the training and the nature and the social aspect, which it was, cross country, like all that stuff. It was being in nature, it was doing something athletic, it was having that camaraderie of other people that you run with and train with and having fun. That was the part that he really enjoyed. But because that is associated with racing, it was like, well, you had to also do the races. And that 14-year-old version of me never truly wanted a race, never truly wanted to be good or win competitions. And so he used to put so much external pressure on himself, and so much pressure that like my 14-year-old self of me, that's all I used to do, was have such bad negative self-talk. I used to make all the excuses on race day. Regardless of how easy the race was, if I knew I could win the race, it didn't matter. It doesn't matter how high stakes, how low stakes the race was. I hated it. I felt so sick within my stomach. I used to have butterflies, and I just kept doing it, and I kept putting my 14-year-old self through that when I shouldn't have, right? So now I've got to go back and heal that part of myself, because I didn't know any different. And so like I used to hate the races, and I used to like just tell myself and affirm to my parents that I'm going to lose this race, even if it was an easy race. I'm going to lose this race. I don't feel right. Like I could have trained better. Like my legs hurting. I used to I used to literally be like, oh yeah, no, I feel like my knees a bit like tweaked a bit, and I used to just make all these excuses. I haven't eaten this morning because I feel sick. Like I need to like all this stuff. I used to make all the excuses in the world to comfort myself, because if I'd failed, then I could easily justify it and be like, oh, I said I was going to lose. I said I was going to lose. I said I wasn't feeling right, and I can make these excuses and justify it. And if I did win, it was even great. It was better, because I was like, I told everyone I was going to lose, and then I won. So it was like that surprise effect. So I almost associated negative self-talk. I associated feelings of being scared and nervous and fearful with winning, which is crazy, right? That's crazy. I associated the worst feelings in the world with winning. And so that's why I have just done stuff based off operating out of fear and scarcity and being scared. I've taken that 14-year-old version of myself with me that hasn't been healed all the way until now, until I'm 23, which is why I only work. I only distract myself from anything else, and I just only do work. And it's technically a part of me of a reason why I've become successful at a young age. But also, if I had maybe never had that trauma or had to deal with that side of things, I might have even been further on in my life right now. I might have even been 5 times more successful, right? And then again, it comes back to like, what is success? Well, that version of me, it was so scared that the only thing he knows is success is just make more money, make more money, make more money, make more money. When again, that could mean that I've picked an industry or industries that don't align with what I want to do, and I'm only doing it for the money aspect, right? And so like it comes back to that point of like, well, what do I do? Like moving forward, which is just interesting. Like I said, I'm on this journey, and it's a very hard truth to realize. So yeah, like I want to start making more content around this stuff where I can actually help you guys go through where I've just gone through. So like I don't want to just give cookie cutter bullshit mindset advice, personal development advice, like all these other channels. I want to do something truly different, where you can almost treat my YouTube videos like a therapy session. I need to think how I'm going to execute it, but I think it'll be really powerful, because if you guys could just go through the exercise I just went, where you truly sit there and just drop into yourself, drop into your body, and really think, like let's just say like you're procrastinating a lot, and that's what it is. You really sit there and think like, right, why am I procrastinating a lot, right? What are the feelings around this procrastination? Okay, I'm feeling nervous. Okay, I feel nervous around this procrastination. Fear's also there. Okay, shame's there. And you coming up and you're feeling all these feelings. Okay, cool. Then you imagine yourself, in wherever it feels calming for you. If you're in nature, you imagine all those parts of yourself, shameful, fearful, guilty, nervousness. You imagine them sat at the bottom of a tree, and you you're the version of you're sat at the top of the tree, and you've got to ask whatever part pops up into your mind first to come up to the tree and to talk to you. And then let's just say you're thinking, you sat at the tree, that fearful part wants to come and talk to you first. That's the part you feel like you need to speak to. So you bring them up to the tree with you, and now you and the fearful part is talking. Now you start to ask questions about that fearful part. Where is this coming from? And then what is popping into your mind while that's happening, right? Why do I feel fearful? Where is that coming from? Like, what is going on there? And then maybe, like, how old was you when that fearful part showed up? And then maybe you're like, oh, you're thinking, you're like, okay, when I was 15, this happened, and I felt really fearful. And I remember this scenario, like, what vision pops into your head, right? So, like, for me, when I was thinking about that fearful, scared, nervous part, the instant vision that popped into my head was on my way in the car with my parents driving to a race, and I'm just sat in the passenger seat, like, absolutely shitting myself with butterflies in my stomach because I didn't want to race. And that was the first thing that popped into my head. How old was I? 14. Okay, cool. So this first started happening when I was 14. How can I tell that part, that 14-year-old version of me, how can I tell him, like, bro, now we're 23, we're good? Like, what advice does that 14-year-old need to hear to stop being scared and to stop being fearful? And what is his true purpose? How can he truly help me? Like, what does he want to do? Like, I'm assuming he wants that weight lifted off his shoulders. He wants to be in alignment. He wants to feel enthusiastic. So what do I need to do in my current life to help him feel that way? Well, I don't go out at all. I just work. That 14-year-old kid loved being out in nature, loved climbing trees, loved training athletics, right? Not necessarily like racing, but he liked being social. He liked training athletics. So what can I do in my day-to-day life to heal that part of me and to be aligned and to work on my bigger vision and to move faster through life in a better way, in a better direction? Well, I need to go out every single morning. As soon as I wake up, this is what I've said to myself now, to build that bond with my 14-year-old self. Every morning, as soon as I wake up, I'm going to chuck my shoes on. I'm just going to go out for a walk in nature. Maybe I'll climb a tree. Who knows, right? That's what I need to do. And I'm going to maybe buy like a Pokemon plush and put her on my bed, and because that's what reminds me of that 14-year-old self, so I know that he's good, and so I can connect with that part of me. And this might sound very like woo-woo, sort of like hippie, like crazy, but I promise, like, this is like the real key and secret, like learning about yourself and really learning how to have mind, heart and body coherence, I truly think is the key. Whenever I've done this stuff, I felt super aligned, I felt super great, and it's actually helped me progress. And so, like, this is what I want to start doing more on this channel and on my socials and as a part of my personal brand. I want to truly help people connect with their self, and I want to truly help people not just develop in business general, like whatever business they're in. I have a ton of business skills. I have 2 7-figure businesses, right? Like, I know how to run a business. I know how to market. I know how to sell. I have some very good business skills. You know, my agency is doing 500 grand a month. My coaching business is doing 100 grand a month, right? Like, I know how to run a fucking business. You can just see on the Skool games. I literally started this community on the 4th of February. We're 5th on the Skool games leaderboard. Like, I know how to run a business. I know how to make money, right? And so, like, yeah, I want to teach that. But I think the most important part is actually doing what is truly aligned with your spirit's journey, with your soul's journey. What does your soul want to do? Not what does one part of you want to do. So, like, for me, the one part that's been controlling my life, right, is that sergeant part. That's just do it for the money. As long as it makes money, it makes sense. That's what you're going to do. Fuck all the other parts, fuck all the other trauma, push that down. We're just going to grind, we're just going to hustle, and we're just going to do what makes money, because that's what's going to make you happy. But then when you get it, you're like, this just doesn't feel right. Like, it doesn't feel right. Like, why am I procrastinating when it comes to doing this? Why am I not feeling fulfilled? Blah, 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 blah. And then you realize, because there's all these other parts, that this part's just being like, fuck you guys. Like, you don't deserve any time. Dylan's spending all his time with me in this grind, hustle, make money mode, and we're just going to do wherever it takes. But you have to have coherence. They all have to come together. You have to accept every part. They have to work together for you to have your biggest idea, for you to be your best self, for you to go and do and have a positive impact in the world the way that you could. You need to have coherence. You can't just have one part driving your life. And I think in today's society, there's people never get the experience to even learn that much about themselves. They're either operating like a robot, where they're just solely just living in the past or the future. No one's ever truly in the present moment, especially with our phones and all the distractions. So I think now it's more difficult than ever to connect with your true self, what your soul's journey is, and how you actually progress and make sure you're on the right track and not just doing stuff because one part is controlling you. Maybe the fearful part is controlling your entire life, and that's why you're depressed, that's why you eat shit, that's why you're fat, that's why you're not doing anything great with your life and you don't feel like you can. Maybe it's the sergeant part of your life, which, yeah, you're ultra successful at a young age, you're making tons of money, but you don't truly feel fulfilled. You don't feel it really true, like you can have an impact or do what you're meant to be doing. Maybe it's the nervous part of you, which is why you're always anxious and living in the future and planning for doomsday, right? You need to have coherence, accept all these parts to be your true higher self, right? You're not going to get that big idea that changes the world until you do. Like, look at Albert Einstein. He didn't get the ideas of everything he learned from another person. He got them from a higher power, right? He got them from his own higher mind, right? The stuff that he did was insanely game-changing and had a massive impact. He didn't learn that from anyone. Those just came to him because he had brain, mind, heart, body coherence, right? So you're not going to get that big idea, or you don't even know what that big idea is that can change the world and lead you in your true life's path until you have coherence. And me right now, I don't have full coherence. I don't. I'm learning this myself. And so I want to show you guys the journey, but help you guys out to realize what you should be doing in life, to find your true passion, and then show you how to actually monetize that passion and actually have a positive impact and do what you're meant to be doing. And I feel like that's something I want to start helping people out on just for free on this channel, and really start, like I said, I need to think and plan about how I'm going to actually do it. And I just think it's super important. Like, I love the business stuff, I really truly do, but I also love this side of things, learning about myself. And like I said, we're drowning in a world of information while starving for wisdom, and I think this is true wisdom, like learning about yourself, diving deep into your inner child. Like, all this stuff makes a ton of sense to me. And so yeah, I'm gonna start making more content on this because it's what I want to do. I might start filming like my daily morning walks and documenting, because that is like a therapeutic part. If that feels right to me, then I'll do it. Otherwise, I won't do it. But yeah, this is a really random video, I guess. I just wanted to upload it just to sort of document my journey. And yeah, maybe you found some value. Maybe you go and look into some stuff. I'll leave some links in the description of some stuff that I've been looking into recently and reading and studying, and I would start there. But yeah, other than that, I'll see you at the top. Peace.